Hello, Dr. John here. drjohn.b3sciences.com. That's drjohn.b3sciences.com. Click on there for useful information and more about what we're going to discuss today. All right, blood flow resistance training. As you can see, I've got my blood flow resistance bands, my B3 bands on my arms and on my legs. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you a brief but intense leg workout, one that doesn't involve pounding your body, okay? So we're going to keep in line with the B3 bands protocol of working what's called distally first, more away from the body first, okay? Then we'll work more proximally. So when we work the legs, we're going to start with a standing calf raise, one set of 30 reps, immediately followed by a 2-minute wall squat at as close to a 90-degree flexion at the knee as you can. From there, we're going to go to what's called a static hip abduction. That involves sitting on an exercise ball or on a bench and putting a band like so around the knees and then spreading your knees apart to where they hit that firm resistance and keep that pressure on for a total of 2 minutes. That static hip abduction for 2 minutes, unlike an isometric, which is all out for 8 seconds, is going to be super productive, okay? So here's how we do it. I'm going to get on the calf raise first. 30 repetitions. We're going to abbreviate this. 30 repetitions. Get that nice squeeze at the top. The standing calf is what you want to do. Seated calves, you neglect certain aspects of your physiology and muscle recruitment. Standing calf will work everything. So here I'm getting that pump in my legs. The blood flow resistance bands inhibit the flow of oxygen just slightly to my thighs, which creates a lesser oxygen there. So when I exert, the muscles consume the oxygen. We reach the lactate threshold, you get the burn, and then that lactic acid flows up to the pituitary gland in your brain, and then the brain responds. The pituitary responds by dumping growth hormone. So I've done my 30 calves. Now I'm going to go right into a static wall sit, and I'll do it for a time amount. But you want to maintain free breathing the whole time. Never hold your breath, never valsalva. We don't want to spike. We don't want to spike pressures inside the body. Just breathe freely. Breathe freely. Now the blood flow bands do not increase your arterial pressure, nor do they affect the arterial side of blood flow. They slow down the venous return of blood. It's also been shown through studies that the heart muscle does not get any increased stress with blood flow resistance training. But right now my muscles are feeling it. I'm starting to get that burn in my quads. So we prime the pump by doing the calves. Now I'm working farther up. Now my quads are working and my glutes to some degree. And with the B3 bands in place, there's less oxygen. So right now, it's like I'm doing a heavy leg press. See this leg press in front of me? Typically, I do 330 pounds for at least 20 to 22 reps with that. And then I strip it to 250 and do another 10 to 12. But I'm getting a very similar effect. So, that's only been a minute, but the idea is we're going to do 2 minutes of that. Then, it's right to the static hip abduction. This is all stuff you can do at home, no equipment. So here I start. It's going to be a time static contraction. There I go. The first 30 seconds is going to be at a 50% perceived effort. I've spread my legs apart, my knees apart. It's where I hit firm resistance here. My hip abductors, my glutes are now engaged. My TFL, my iliotibial bands cranking. And even to some degree my quadriceps, certainly my abductors. Even my adductors have to contract in order to balance the recruitment of the abductors and adductors. So here I am. First 30 seconds, 50% resistance. We've gone 30. Now I'm going to ramp it up to 75% perceived effort. I'm going to hold that for the next minute. So this gets intense. And the first few times you do this, you've got to gauge your effort. We don't have a strain gauge to measure your output here. So err on the side of going easier than harder. And as the muscle fibers fatigue, we're going to hand off from slow twitch fibers to fast twitch fibers. So that at the end, when that burn's really happening, we're training those fast twitch fibers of my glutes. You don't have to train fast to be fast, folks. You just have to activate the fibers. Now let's say we've gone a minute. We almost have. Now, the last 30 seconds, we're going to ramp it up to as hard as you dare to go. Whatever that might be for you, as hard as you dare to go. Now I really feel that burn kicking into my glutes. So I'm getting this whole burn in my whole lower body. That lactic acid is now flowing back up to my pituitary gland, and I'm dumping growth hormone into the system. Just as if I'm doing a heavy leg press, which most people really don't want to do. Here you can tap in without tapping out, folks, at any age. This is safe for your joints. So let's say I've done the 2-minute time static contraction. You have the choice. You could do another 30 reps of the calf, another minute and a half static wall squat, another minute of time static contraction, hip abduction. 2 rounds of that is plenty. 1 is more than enough for most. So there it is, folks. Okay? Calf raise, static wall squat, static hip abduction. Okay? This is great stuff. You're gonna love it. Have a great day.